So today we shall be discussing this integral problem. This is actually seem quite simple, but the evaluation of this definite integral is quite complicated, and we shall basically going to hunt that complicated process in order to solve this. So first of all, it is basically a definite integral because we have a lower limit and an upper limit in the bound integral function. So first, in order to solve this definite integral, we need to make a clever substitution. And we are basically observing this function. We got to note that when we can take y is equals to natural logarithm of sine x, and when we will going to differentiate it from both the sides, then we will basically going to get that dy is equals to dx divided by tan x. Okay, so and we can also see that dx divided by tan x is basically a term which is present here. So putting natural log of sine x equals to y seems to be a very clever substitution in this definite integral in order to solve this. Okay, so we have put this natural logarithm of sine x as y, we have put this dx divided by tangent of x as dy. Now we need to make natural logarithm of cos x in the form of y. We can do that very simply. We can basically going to take this equation and we can write sin x is equals to e to the power of y. When we have written sin x is equals to e to the power of y, we can also write the same for cos x, because we know that cos x is nothing but it is basically the square root of 1 minus sine square x. So we can write cos x as a square root of 1 minus e to the power of 2y. And similarly, if we need to write natural logarithm of cos x, then it will simply going to be 1 by 2 into natural logarithm of 1 minus e to the power of 2y. It is a property of natural logarithm that the exponential power comes as a direct multiple of the natural logarithm, because we know that natural logarithm of a to the power of m can be written as m into natural logarithm of a. It is just we have used this to take the square root exponent in the downward side. So this is the thing. Now we need to change the upper as well as the lower limit on the basis of the substitution that we have done. So first of all, we can see that we have turned out that y is equals to natural log of sine x, and the lower limit is basically having x approaching to 0. So when x is approaching to 0, it is obvious that sine of natural logarithm of sine x will also going to approach to 0, because we all know that sine x is a decreasing function and sine 0 is equals to 0. So this also illustrates that it is something like natural logarithm of something is decreasing towards 0, and we all know that it is basically minus infinity. How? Because we know from the graph of the natural logarithm that when we will basically going to have natural logarithm of x versus x, we know that its graph is like this. Let me make it more clear. And graph is like this. It will going to cut the y-axis or the ordinate at minus infinity. This is actually the coordinate 1 comma 0. Okay, so you can see that as x is approaching towards 0, okay, as x is approaching towards 0, y is approaching towards in minus infinity when x is approaching towards 0. We can see from this graph here. So this is basically the new lower limit. Okay, now as we can see that in the upper limit case x is approaching to pi by 2, so we can here also infer that sine x in this case will going to approach towards 1. So natural logarithm of sine x will going to approach towards 0, hence y will going to be approaching towards 0. So taking this information of the lower limit, this substitution as a third point, and this fourth and fifth point for the differential coefficient and the substituent that we have done in our original sense, combining 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we can transform this integral and we can write this integral now as I is equals to integral sine. Now new lower limit is minus infinity and our new upper limit is now 0, as we can see from here. Natural log of sine x is now we can write it as y, and natural logarithm of cos x can be written now as 1 by 2 natural logarithm of 1 minus e to the exponential power of 2y multiplied with dx divided by 10x, which is now we can write as dy. So this is now our new integral, and we need to solve this just like to solve this one. We have just substituted it through our clever substitution methods, substituting the function, evaluating the new differential coefficient, and establishing new lower and upper limit in order to solve for the original integral in terms of our new substituent integral. So this is our new definite integral. We can also write this as taking the constant of 1 by 2 out as 1 by 2 integral of minus infinity to 0 y into natural logarithm of 1 minus e to the power of 2y dy. Okay. Now let us take this whole thing towards the front. So first of all, we need to rub this thing all here. So 1 second please. Now we will basically going to start working out from this integral onwards. Okay, it's a definite integral, so we do not need to put the sign back, so we do not care about what the original variables were, because in definite integral we just need to have a numerical value, no need of having any type of variable in our last answer. So now we can write our integral I that we now need to evaluate as 1 by 2 integration of minus infinity to 0, it is 0 y natural logarithm of 1 minus e to the power of 2y into dy. We need to now we need to evaluate this integral. Okay, so now when we have such type of integral, it is very much better for us to have a double integral. Okay, and how we can have a double integral evaluated from this single integral, we will now going to study. First of all, we are basically going to take this thing out, this natural logarithm part. Let us suppose that this natural of 1 minus e to the power of 2y is equals to p. Okay, let us suppose that this is a case which we are basically having in this case. Now let us suppose that we differentiate both sides with respect to y. So first of all, by applying chain rule, we can have this differential as minus of e to the power of 2y into 2 of dy is equals to dp. Okay, you can solve for this. It is just a chain rule of derivatives. You can simply do that. And also, if you are watching this video, you know a bit about calculus, because this question was a type of calculus 2 or 3. It was not of a type of calculus 1. So moving on, we can write this now as 2 multiplied with e to the power of 2y into dy divided by 1 minus e to the power of 2y is equals to dp. Okay. Now what we can do is we can also write it as negative of differential coefficient of e to the power of 2y on the whole, because we know that this can be written as this, and the denominator can be written as 1 minus e to the power of 2y. Okay, and this is equals to d phi. Now what we can do is, let us suppose that e to the power of 2y is equals to a new variable called z. Okay, so you need to know these techniques, because this integral is an extremely hard integral. Okay, it seems to be cute, but it is not. So taking this assumption to be put in this equation and then taking the resultant out, we will basically going to have negative of dz divided by 1 minus z is equals to zp, speaking like a Russian in this case. Now let us integrate it again from 0. Now here you need to take into consideration the as you know that the original function that we have taken was p as natural logarithm of 1 minus z. Okay, so if p is 0, obviously z will be what? Z will also going to be 0, and if p we have taken as the upper limit in this case, then obviously z will going to be z, which is equivalent to e to the power of 2y. Okay, see, in any upper and lower limit, we always need to take constants. We can take variables also, but it will be extremely appropriate for you to take constant in this case. Especially in double integrals, it is very much necessity to take a constant as a either a lower limit integral or an upper limit integral in this case. So we can have this p now as integration of 0 to e to the power of 2y minus of dz divided by 1 minus z. Okay, so now we will going to take this, and now we will going to proceed to our next conclusion. Now we can write I as 1 by 2 integration from minus infinity to 0 y times of p dy, because originally we have taken p as natural logarithm of 1 minus e to the power of 2y also, and now p is this. So putting them, we will going to have 1 by 2 integration minus infinity to 0 y times of integration 0 to e to the power of 2y. I am taking this negative sign out, so it will going to be dz divided by 1 minus z, and the whole thing is overlapped within dy. So you need to take this into account too. This is important. Now you can see that the single definite integral is now being converted into a double definite integral. Okay. So now we can write I as minus of 1 divided by 2 of integration from minus infinity to 0, integration from 0 to e to the power of 2y, y times of dz divided by 1 minus z dy. Or more clearly, I can write it as y is equals to minus 1 by 2 integration of minus infinity to 0, integration of e to the power of 0 to e to the power of 2y, y into d to the z divided by 1 minus z dy. So now this is the thing which we need to evaluate. So again, we will going to take this to the front because I'm lacking any space here. There's abruptly any space, so we will going to go towards front again in order to solve for the remaining part of this problem. So erasing these things first of all. It does not seem very good through heart. I'm erasing the things on which I've worked on. I don't know, but it always makes me feel sad. But it is important to move on in your life, man. Okay. We can write this integral now in the top. We can write this as I is equals to minus of 1 by 2 integration from minus infinity to 0, integration from e to 0 to the e to the power of 2y, y dz dy divided by 1 minus z. This is the thing now which we need to evaluate. Now, as you can see that 1 divided by 1 minus z is nothing but it is basically an infinite GP having a common ratio of z and the first term 1. So what is this thing? Infinite geometric progression having first term 1 and common ratio z. Expanding it will going to be like 1 plus z to the power of 1 plus z to the power of 2, 1 plus z to the power of 3, and it is going up to infinity. And if you want a proof, I will going to present you the proof too. Let us suppose that we have written this as 1 plus z, 1 plus z2 plus z3 up to infinity. I can take z as common here and simply write this thing again. As we can see that there's no difference between this and this expression, so I can write this expression as q. So q is equals to 1 plus q times of z. So q is equals to 1 minus z is equals to 1. So q is equals to 1 divided by 1 minus z. So we can infer that this thing and this thing are equivalent to each other. So I can say that 1 divided by 1 minus z can be written as a summation of z to the power of m m is basically starting from 0 because z to the power of 0 is 1, which is actually making the first term of the summation series, and obviously it is going up to infinity. So now putting this thing into our integral part, we shall basically going to have I as minus 1 by 2 of summation of m equals to 0 up to infinity, integration minus infinity to 0, integration 0 to the power of e to the power of 2y. So y z to the power of m dz dy. Okay, now we will basically going to separate these two integrals again. So we will basically going to substitute these two integrals again. So we will basically going to have in this case as minus 1 by 2 summation of m from 0 to infinity, integration from minus infinity to 0 y dy, integration 0 to e to the power of 2y z m dz. Now we can write our above integral as negative of 1 by 2 of summation of m is equals to 0 to infinity of integration from minus infinity to 0 y to the power of dy. We can now solve for this as z to the power of m plus 1 divided by as in denominator as m plus 1 starting from 0 ending at e to the power of 2y. Now if we can put m starting from 1, then obviously now then we can write m as m plus 1 as m. Okay, because if m is equal to 0, then m plus 1 is equals to 1, and we can then put m plus 1 as new m. So this thing m plus 1 will going to reduce to m again if we were going to start m from 1. So this is a logic thing that we need to do in order to reduce the calculations. So it will be minus half of summation of m approaching to 1 to infinity, integration to minus infinity to 0 y dy z to the power of m divided by m e to the power of 2y, 0 which we need to put. We will going to put e to the power of 2y, and it is extremely obvious that if we were going to put 0 in z, the result will be 0. Okay, so our integral now reduces to minus half of summation of m is equals to 1 to infinity, integration minus infinity to 0 1 by m y times sorry z z is basically 2y, right? So it will be 2 m y dy. Now this is just a integration by parts. Now we need to evaluate integration by parts in this case. So now we need to evaluate y divided by m into e to the power of 2 my dy, which is actually equals to y to the power of m integration e to the power of 2 my dy minus integration 1 by m times integration e to the power of 2 my dy whole under dy. We can write this as y divided by m dot 1 by 2 m dot e to the power of 2 my. It is just a simple integral to evaluate of. It will going to be 1 by m dot 1 by 2 m. The same thing we will going to follow in this case also. dy. Solving it further and further and further, we shall be having now as y e to the power of 2 my divided by 2m square and negative of 1 divided by 2m square. We have e to the power of 2my in this case, so we need to take off 1 divided by 2m again, and so that we can have now 2my plus c, because now we are evaluating the definite part, so we also need to add the constant of integration, in this case 2. So the overall that we have got is that it will be equal to m of 2m cube into y e to the power 2my, oh sorry, it will be square minus of e to the power of 2my, it will be 4m cube divided by 2m square is equals to 2m only. So this is the integral that we have evaluated. We just need to put this thing again into here. This thing needs to be supported in between 0 and minus infinity in order to get our answer. Okay, so this thing we need to put in here, this part. Okay, so this question is almost over because we are heading towards the answer now. I'm going to rub this part. I hope you can see the solution here. So I'm starting from here, means this process which I need to do. This thing now will basically going to start from here. As you can see the clean sign. Yeah. Okay. So we have this function into our consideration. This I1 we are going to put here I, which is equals to negative 1/2 summation sign from m is equals to 1 up to infinity, and this thing is this, which is y e to the power of 2my divided by 2m square minus e to the power of 2my e to the power of 2my divided by 4m cube, and then we have 0 and minus infinity, so we have 0 and minus infinity in our situation. So now we can wrap this part also. We are almost done, so no need to worry about. Now this is the thing which we need to evaluate now. This is the only thing which we need to do now, and then we will going to be done. So now let us put 0. This will be 0. This will also going to be 0. If you will going to replace, oh no. So let us do this thing. M is equals to 1 to infinity. Putting 0 first in place of y, it will going to be 0, and it will going to be minus of 1 divided by 4m cube subtracted by, now we will basically going to put minus infinity in this case. As we can see that the exponent power of e to the power of minus infinity will going to tend towards 0, so it will going to be 0 again, minus. Similarly here the power e to the power of minus infinity in the case when y will be replaced with minus infinity will tend towards 0 again, so this will also going to be 0. So the only solution that we left up with is that this minus and minus needs to be added on, so it will going to be minus half of summation of m is equals to 1 to infinity minus of 1 divided by 4m cube. Okay, so contemplating this, we can write this that our integral answer is m is equals to 1 to infinity 1 divided by 8 1 by m cube. This is actually a Riemann-Zeta function. This is actually a Riemann-Zeta function at z equals to 3. The exact solution of z is equals to 3 for Riemann-Zeta function is not being evaluated so far, but the Riemann-Zeta function value of z is equals to 3, which is the summation of m equals to 1 to infinity of 1 divided by m cube, is approximately 9 into pi to the power of 10 divided by 701,159. So putting this into context, we will going to get our answer as 9 pi 10 in divided by 8 multiplied with 701159. So 701159 multiplied with 8 is now 9 8 is 72, 8 with a 40, 47, 8 with a 9, 12, it will then write 9, 0, 56. So I will basically going to be 9 multiplied with 10th power of pi divided by 56,09,272 will going to be our answer for this corresponding question. So this question was pretty difficult. It was just like a coffin problem which seems to be easy but turns out to be a monster problem in integral calculus. So thanks for watching. If you are watching, so namaskar.